Why? No like Falcon new uniform. People hate on Falcon uniform, but black, red, and green Guardian always represent Falcon. Do it for Mother Russia, then do it for Wakanda. What's going on, family? It's your boy Simo the C Mitchell, checking in with another Bird Bath ATL. Shout out to everybody who was sitting there waiting on the wait. Had to wait for the beer run to get back to you guys. Hey, we're going to get right into it, man. There's a lot that's been happening recently with the Falcons. They've got new jerseys, which I have no problems with. And they also got a new GM, assistant GM, that comes from Eagles tutelage. And I'm very thrilled about that, as well as the Kirk Cousins new team. So let's hop right into it, baby. First and foremost, man, there's a lot of people who've been hating on the Falcons' new uniforms. And honestly, like I told you guys previously out there, that I could do it either way, one way or another. I don't give a damn how the jerseys look as long as we go out here and we win. But there's a lot of people who say that the new jerseys and the new uniforms, they look too much like, I don't know. I've heard the Cardinals. I've heard that they look like the Texans, which I actually like the Texans uniforms. And I've heard them talking about even Bucks fans saying how the uniforms look like the Bucks uniforms. Now, honestly, most of these jerseys these days, they look kind of plain and they look kind of simple. I'm not even going to pull up the jerseys for you guys because, like I said, it's nothing special and nothing to guac home about. What I wish that they would have done, though, if I had it my way, we'd have got us some light gray jerseys with them red pants bottoms. That would have been kind of dope. Reminds me of the kind of old school Jordans that they had one year. But, you know, the patent leather Jordans, you remember those? The gray patent leather Jordans that they had? They were I think they were called the cool gray or something like that. Anyway, I love that color of gray. If we could have got something like that, I'd have loved that. Also, I've seen a few people saying that they wanted to see the red throwback helmets with the jerseys as well, too. Again, I don't care what they're doing as long as they're winning. And a lot of people, my boy Doe, we had a conversation earlier talking about why are fans hating on everything that the Falcons do. And in my humble opinion, honestly, I think that they get a lot of hate because the Falcons just haven't been winning. And if they win more, they wouldn't hate as much. So I think if they win, they'll start to like the jerseys a little bit more. One thing that I do love about these jerseys, though, is that it's a little bit easier to actually tell the numbers of players. Previously, with some of the jerseys that they had, a lot of guys, a lot of commentators, and myself included, were not necessarily able to tell the numbers of certain players apart from each other. Specifically, Divine Diablo and Jalen Walker, their numbers look very similar because you had that 11 and you got that 0. As well as when we had, Ed Buckhead out there. 17 looks oddly close to a similar number. And even James Pierce Jr., sometimes you can get a little shaken up with that as well, too. I thought it was just me, but then I was listening to 92.9 The Game earlier today. They were saying how when they had a Jersey Insider, I don't even know what a Jersey Insider is, but he was saying the same thing, that a few commentators were having issues with being able to just differentiate some of those players in some of the in-game situations. And again, I thought it was just me. I've got better than 20/20 vision, and I was starting to think that, oh man, I'm just getting old. I'm the only person in my family who doesn't wear glasses. So it's kind of bothering me at first a little bit, but I'm glad to see that it wasn't just me, and that had a little bit of something to do with it. So again, if we win in these jerseys, I think that we're going to be just fine. Fans are going to love it all the same. If you win, winning cures everything. Real quick, before we go into why I like the new GM hiring, or assistant GM hiring, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to the homies in the chat. Special shout out to Maggie T Productions with Falcons Nation. Spoke to her earlier today, had a really dope conversation, and I believe that we're going to be doing some more collaborations, hopefully, in the near future. Special shout out as well to the homie Trent. Trent, definitely, he is one of those people that basically put me in touch with being able to do that. Trenton in the chat says, "What's good, Simo? What events at 404 am I going to? Could could I please get you some merch if it's free? Absolutely, I will do that, my brother. My social battery wears a little bit thin sometimes, but I'm going to go out to a few of those events. There's supposed to be something going on at Stankonia. And I do team up with the homie Player Poncho, who did the song, old school song, What's Up, Atlanta Classic. But I might be doing some video work for him there. So I'll see what I can do for you and scrounge up around there. You said, my thoughts on the new uniforms is it signals bringing in a winning era with the red like Bartowski days and Matt's days. Yeah, I really do love the red, going back to the red. It kind of irked me a little bit. I mean, people were talking about how we look like the Cardinals and look like the Texans and the Buccaneers. All of those guys have been biting the Falcons. We're the original red uniforms. And for so long, we had the blacks. And I love the black uniforms, but I love when we can get the red jerseys colored. And again, I think it's new, sleek, classic. It's what you want. Don't do too much. And I think that that's going to be very fitting with the new play style that we're getting from your boy Stefanski, I'm sorry. Also, new assistant, genius. I believe he made a great connection with Ian and Philly. Could be a potential candidate for teams, leading us to picks like Chicago throughout. Good call. I actually agree with that, and that's kind of where I'm going with my next comments about why I really love the hiring of him and what I think is genius behind that. One reason, as you just alluded to, why I think that this new GM hiring is a genius move is because he came up under the tutelage of one Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman has been one of the most trading GMs over the last 2 or 3 years. Prior to Jeff Scott, and that's the name of the new assistant GM is Jeff Scott, who they hired. Previously, Howie Roseman did a lot of trades. Before that, and then when they moved Ian Scott up to the VP of football operations, that just only continued a lot more. So I am really excited for what that's going to signify. Now, keep in mind, Ian Cunningham also came from under Howie Roseman's tutelage as well. So we have two guys from the Eagles that have been former executives or former front office guys with the Eagles. Both of them have an extensive background in scouting. Specifically, Jeff Scott, he spent 12 years with the Commanders before he got to the Eagles, and that might even go back to when it was the Washington football team. I'm pretty certain, and it might even go back to when they were called the Redskins. But he started out as an intern with the salary cap, then moved up to being a guy that was in the scouting department and became head of the scouting department before he moved on. I think he might have been even the president or something like that in that department. But he was a department head in the scouting. So I really feel as though this signifies not only good scouting and understanding and evaluating players. Those are the strengths of him and Ian Cunningham. But he's also got a good amount of sense and some experience looking at salary cap operations. That's something that's going to be heavily needed with this team. That's not necessarily a strong suit necessarily of Ian Cunningham. Now, I'm not saying that Ian Cunningham can't do that, but what his mark has been scouting. That's where he's made his extensive mark with. But keep in mind, Ian Cunningham coming from Philly and also going to Chicago. Chicago is a team that also traded heavily over the last few years. But no team traded more than Philly, and we got Jeff Scott coming straight over there from underneath Howie Roseman over the last 5 years, being with the Eagles. And I think that their time overlapped a little bit as well, too, if I'm not mistaken, Ian Cunningham and Jeff Scott as well, too. So I think it's great anytime that you have someone who's learned under somebody who has been so extensively great at what they've done. The Eagles have been to 2 Super Bowls over the last 5 years, and going back to 2017, they've been to 3 Super Bowls. They've won 2 of those. Howie Roseman's doing a great job. He's been 2-time executive of the year, or GM of the year, or something along those lines, whatever you want to call it. He's been one of the leading executives in the NFL, and you got to love that. Now, if you want your team to do better, right, you hire better in whatever you're trying to make them better. If you want better players, you go get better players. You want a better coach, you go and get a coaching upgrade. And if you want to have better trade opportunities and more experience in your front office, you go get better executives in that area. So couldn't be thrilled more than anything. And as a lot of you guys may know, the NFL has a problem, a coaching problem with hiring minorities. But the Falcons have no problem with hiring minorities, specifically black Americans, as coaches or as front office executives. We've had Terry Fontenot. Now we've had Ian Cunningham. And your boy Jeff Scott also is a brother. And this ain't about a race thing, but I do feel as though enough executives that are African American, or however you want to call it, foundational black Americans, are not given this opportunity nearly enough. And I got to commend the Falcons for what they're doing. They might have to change the Rooney rule to the blank rule, but really love that Arthur Blank is putting has his ear to the street on the pulse of what this city is. And I'm not saying that he hired these guys just because they're black, but having somebody who understands that, I think it's a plus to it. But again, I just think it's great that they're giving black Americans the opportunity to shine and thrive out here. And hopefully we don't have to get another head coach anytime soon. Hopefully Stefanski can come in here and do his deal. But I really am excited about where we are with these guys. Moving on, because again, and I will say before I move on, Saturday morning inspection said that they believe that this hiring signifies that we're going to make a trade in the draft. And I kind of agree with them. I feel really strongly that why would they make this type of move? Why would they get two guys that are extensively well-versed in trading? Two guys as executives that have been groomed up by a trading guru and a trading culture if they weren't going to make that move. And when you think about it, I mean, Ian Cunningham's already done a phenomenal job so far. I think that getting Brown out there as a safety from the Eagles was a very smart move. We got a 3-for-2 deal, basically. We swapped our 4th and our 6th round draft pick, and then we picked up Brown as a backup. And essentially, that serves as our 5th round draft pick. We didn't have a 5th round draft pick, so we've already gained a draft pick back. I think that we're going to get more draft picks as well, too. But in the 4th through 6th round, these are guys that you're always looking for to be good special teamers for you. And I think the Falcons have done a good job of shoring up that special teams. Again, and I said this in some of my previous casts previous shows recently, that people don't make a big enough deal about your special teams unit. You got 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and you got special teams. And those guys on special teams are starters as well, too. Special teams players will play a third of the game a lot of the times. Sometimes on special teams, that will account for almost 30 plays in a game, especially if there's a lot of kicking and punting, kickoffs and punts. And I expect us to be scoring a lot this year and hopefully not having to punt very often. But we need coverage guys. We need guys who can go down and be gunners. I think it's great when you're able to get someone in there like that could do that. So, again, I do expect us to make some more trades, especially. Now, keep in mind, before we get into the Kirk Cousins thing, the Falcons also, in recent mocks, they have them mocked as taking a nose tackle and a cornerback with their first 2 picks. Now we only have a second. We have a 2nd and a 3rd round pick as our first 2 picks. We do not have a 1st round draft pick, but I'm gonna go back and find the name of who they are saying with ESPN specifically in the latest mock. They said that they were going to get a nose tackle, and I'm gonna get you that name real quick. 320 something pounder. I I don't think that Jeff Ulbrich is going to want to go that route. Honestly, I believe that Jeff Ulbrich does not like the heavier linemen, but again, I think that's where we're going to go in the draft early on. I don't believe that we're going to go with a 320 something pounder, but I do believe that they want to shore up that run defense, and there's a possibility we go with a defensive tackle. Again, I still think that wide receiver is a place I'd like to see the Falcons go with early on, and I do believe cornerback is a position that we need to definitely attack early on, as well as linebacker, middle linebacker. I've done a couple of breakdowns, which I'll link in the description, about some of the linebackers that I really love out there. But this is one of the most heavy off-ball linebacker drafts that there is, with a lot of talent out there. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let me top back over here to the comments real quick. Shout out to Candy Did Room with Maggie T. Special is our gray area. Special teams is our gray area. Indeed, agreed. I think that special teams has been a bad area for us. I think that with us letting go of some of the guys like Felipe Franks, he's not coming back. We did re-sign D'Angelo Malone, so I'm happy about that. I don't really like him as a rotational defensive player. I didn't get on the field very often, but he does play on the edge pretty decently, but he's been a great special teamer for us, and that's a big reason why we've had him there. I believe that J.D. Bertrand is going to lose his job. He's not a guy that I want to see out there on special teams. Missed a lot of tackles last year, or just kind of seemed like a deer in the headlights. But maybe he can play special teams for us this year. There's going to be a lot of competition out there, and I really like that the Falcons are doing that. Also, Trent says Caleb Banks in for 30. Visit, probably just checking on his injury. If he's cleared, he could be the 48th pick. That's an interesting one. And I just want to look back one more time. I'm upset that I was not able to find this player's name that they were looking at. Oh yeah, you're right, Caleb Banks. It was Caleb Banks. I just don't know. He's a real big dude though, man. Like, I don't think Ulbrich likes those heavy set nose tackles. I think that it does. It clogs up our lanes on a lot of the stunts and things that we like to do out there. That's the one reason that I don't think that we're going to go with the heavier set guys. I think that Ulbrich really loves those nimble guys, the guys that can move on their feet. Keep in mind what he had in New York, the guy that they traded to the Cowboys last year. He's a big guy, 6'3", 300 pounds, though. I think that Ulbrich likes those 300-pounders. And even keep in mind, a lot of people don't remember, we re-signed Laquel London, but Laquel London came along really strong last year. And I remember in the offseason, one of my viewers out there was saying that he's like, watch out for Laquel London. He liked him as a nose tackle. And at the time, I think Laquel London had been listed at like 315, 320 pounds. Laquel London... and that was his playing weight while he was in Chicago. Once we got him, he trimmed down tremendously for us to be able to use him in this defense. We got this attacking defense. I think that big boys are not able to carry all that weight on them when they're as well, and they can kind of lose a little bit of endurance. So for that reason, I believe that we like the more nimble guys. We're going to have a heavy defensive line rotation, and I think that that's why they're okay with not having necessarily the bigger, heavier set nose tackles that could clog up lanes. It does a great deal, undoubtedly, for your run defense. But again, it can stop a lot of your stunning and things that you like to do like that. But without further ado, before that, Felipe Franks had no lane integrity, cost us 2 of those return 50-yard plus. I agree with you, Trent. That's 100% true. We had that one touchdown. I was at that game against the Seahawks. Felipe Franks lost his lane integrity, and I think they had Ebiketie out there as well too on that play, and Ebiketie missed the tackle. Felipe Franks cost us a lot on special teams last year as well with penalties, man. He just lost his head and lost his cool far too much. I mean, dude, that's why you were here, was to play special teams, and I think for that reason, that's why he's gone. You can't be out here getting penalties and doing things like that. So we'll see what happens. But moving on to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was signed recently to what I think a 5-year deal or something of that sort to the Raiders, and I think 20 mil was guaranteed, of which the Falcons are going to be paying 8 mil this year. Now, at first I saw that it was only 11 million guaranteed, but then I just saw today that it was 20 million guaranteed. So you guys let me know out there what I got wrong. I couldn't get a completely definitive answer, but I will say that with him signing to the Raiders this year, that puts us a little bit less, a little bit of cap relief. It gives us a little bit less that we have to pay out. We were going to have to pay, I believe, 10 million of his salary this year, or owed him 10 million, and we have 12 million in dead cap space from Kirk Cousins alone. I believe that with that move now, it gives us a relief of about 1.5 million. Not the biggest thing, but again, I'd rather only have to pay him 8.5 million. But Kirk Cousins is, man, shout out to his agent, man. He is the GOAT of all GOATs. I mean, who knew? Who thought that he would be able to sign another big contract like that? Now, granted, they can definitely get rid of him, and there are extra years on the end so that he can void out easily, so that they can void out easily without it being any huge cap penalties for him. But I think this move also makes the Falcons look a little bit more smarter. Keep in mind that it is widely accepted and widely thought that the Raiders are going to go with Mendoza in the draft this April, and I'm 100% sure that they're probably going to do that. The Raiders and Kubiak definitely talked about how they wanted to have get a bridge quarterback in there and somebody that they could kind of teach Mendoza a little bit. Now, I don't think that Kirk has really shown that he is very much in the way of grooming up a young quarterback. I don't think that he's showed that he could really bring along and make a quarterback better. Michael Penix said in his comments last year that he didn't get support from anybody, and that's including Kirk Cousins. He didn't feel as though he was really getting any grooming from anybody. And I don't think that Kirk really tried to help him along that much. I think that Kirk, he probably had a good relationship with him. So it's kind of interesting that Kirk decided to go there knowing that they're going to draft Mendoza, but maybe he won't have to come out and start initially. But I believe he's going to probably start off at least the first few games. But again, I think that it just speaks volumes to the intelligence of the move, of that type of move, and I think that the Falcons look a little less stupid for doing that over the past few years. With having Kirk Cousins here in Atlanta, I just don't think it's I don't think it's as silly as people thought it was now. But it's just crazy that Kirk was able to go out here and get another contract at such a hefty amount. Now, I'm not 100% sure of all of the details of how that all the way breaks down, but I do know that it gives the Falcons a little bit of cap relief, and we'll still be on the hook for a few million next year as well too, but that'll be the end of our dead cap space with him at the end of next year. I think that he had a $40 million signing bonus or a $50 million signing bonus at first, so it'll be a little bit less that we owe him next year for that matter as well too. So I'm with it. Shout out to the chat again. Candy did room with Maggie T says Kirk is selfish. I believe that Kirk is probably a little bit more selfish than people would say, would expect that he is. Kind of agree with you a little bit on that. Kirk is definitely a guy who wants to play, but I mean, you got to be a little bit selfish when you're playing in this league. You got to be the most competitive on the field. I don't know if I'd call it 100% selfish, but he definitely wants to play undoubtedly, and I don't think that he's necessarily trying to make anybody better in a point that or give them competition to lose his starting job. Trent says, good history. Kubiak is expecting to have a competent quarterback play with Kirk. They have good history. Yeah, they do. They I think they played they coached together in Minnesota maybe. But yeah, they definitely got good history with each other. Also, Trent says, thank you. I don't want to invest a draft pick into a nose tackle that will only play short yardage snaps. We want a big guy, but an athletic one. Nobody wants a big hog on the O or D line. Too slow. Yeah, in today's league, I don't want guys that are just too slow that are going to. I like guys that can clog up the middle, but I need you to be like a Vita Vea if we're going to do that. And those guys, they don't grow on trees. So if you can move like that, you're going to be a higher draft pick. I believe that with the defensive tackle that we signed from Chicago. And with us having Lakel London, they're expecting both of those guys to be able to take care of what Anyamata had. I believe that we're going to do our best to maybe get us a guy in the 6th or 7th round as a nose tackle, as a defensive tackle, maybe even in the 4th round. Again, keep in mind, I do think that the Falcons are going to trade for more extensive picks. This year's draft class, I think after the first 16 picks, they say there's a bit of a drop-off. So there's a chance that we might be able to trade up, and it won't be as heavy of a price to trade up. Or we might be able to make some other trades to be able to get another 2nd-round pick or maybe some 3rd-rounders. I wouldn't be surprised if we came around with 2 3rd-rounders or 2 4th-rounders, and that'd be huge for us. I would like to see us be able to get a defensive tackle as well as an offensive tackle who could potentially move into a starting position in case somebody like Storm Norton goes down, if we have another issue with either Jake or Caleb McGarry going down. Keep in mind, Caleb McGarry this is his last year on his contract. Now, we could extend him. Caleb McGarry is a pretty good run defender, but if not, I want us to be able to have a guy that could be an heir apparent to him. And if we can get a guy like that in the 3rd round, that'd be nice. I don't want to see one in the 2nd round, but I think at 3rd or 4th round, if we can get another offensive tackle, and then if we can get another defensive tackle in the maybe 3rd or 4th round, or maybe 3rd through 6th round, maybe. But I want to solidify spots with our first 2 picks for a wide receiver and a cornerback, maybe even a linebacker. If we could go back and get something at the nose tackle or defensive tackle, as well as an offensive tackle, and then keep those last remaining picks for some special team guys, I think that would be huge for us. I wouldn't be mad at them sacrificing some draft picks for next year or the year after that in order to move up. And then by then, hopefully we have enough that we might be able to trade a veteran or two somewhere down the road. There's also a lot of people talking about Kyle Pitts being traded away. I don't know why you guys want to keep trying to trade away Kyle Pitts. I saw something that was like, would you take this trade? And I believe this was on Chat Sports, where it was like a 3rd rounder and a 6th rounder for Kyle Pitts. Hell no, I wouldn't trade a 3rd rounder. I wouldn't trade Kyle Pitts for a 3rd rounder and a 6th rounder. There's no way. I just don't even understand why this keeps becoming a topic. Trading Kyle Pitts for anything less than a 2nd rounder is weird, and I just believe at the tight end position, it's a hard enough position to come along and get to where Kyle Pitts is now. If we traded Kyle Pitts away and we got a 2nd or a 3rd rounder, even a 1st rounder, there's no guarantee that tight end is going to come in and be ready to play off top either. Travis Kelce didn't have a great first rookie year. It took him a little bit to kind of get going. You look at Hawkinson. He's fizzled out. He's been hurt. Harold Fadden hit the ground running. He was a 3rd rounder for Cleveland last year. And again, with Stefanski, I think that you will get a lot more out of your tight ends. But Njoku, he was a guy that was drafted high enough with his pick and never really panned out into anything. Sam Laporta had a good rookie year, but I don't think that Sam Laporta, if we got what Sam Laporta gave us, I don't think he gives you enough in the blocking game to make up for the drop-off that he would get in the passing game. And he's been a pretty good receiving tight end, but he is not the same type of matchup nightmare. He's a guy that has reliable hands and you can throw it to him, but he does not bring to the table what Kyle Pitts brings to the table. Kyle Pitts is an elite tight end. He's an elite athlete in this game, and he creates all type of mismatches. A very dynamic player, and for that reason, I love what we're getting out of him. I'm going to drop in here and do a couple more comments, and then we're going to break up out of here today, man, because I got to get ready for 404 day, as you guys know. Jay Black says, what up, CMO in chat? Hit that like and subscribe button, and also hit that notifications bell, as Jay Black is pointing out in the comments. If you want to stay up to breast with everything that we're doing, make sure you hit that notifications bell after you hit that like and subscribe. Also, keep in mind, we are going to be doing a watch party live at the NFL draft. I'm going to be at Twin Peaks over in Buckhead. If you're in the city, holla at us. Message me, tap in with us. And we got Madden tournaments coming up now as well, too. Madden and NCAA as well as a 2K. I'm going to get a form or something, get some type of sign-up sheet to see what type of interest that we're going to have in that. But we will definitely be doing some Madden tournaments as well, too. We're going to be doing a lot more community things with the Bird Bath. But if you made it this far, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for us, man. And make sure that you share. Bring more people to the Bird Bath to wash that stinking ass. Jay Black says, Ian Magic will surprise all of us will surprise all of you. We might have 2 second-round picks. I hope so. Certainly hope so. I think that it's wishful thinking. I don't know how we're going to get to that point, but I do believe that it is very likely that we might come away with 2 second-round picks. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if we came away with a few third-round picks and we were able to gain something with it. I think that we got jug masters in our front office now. That's the Atlanta term. We got jug masters in our front office who I believe are going to come away with knowing how to manipulate that draft. So I love it. Trent says, all these names these days came out the gate hot and slowed down or got injured. Kyle already had been through the rookie high, the sophomore slump, and injuries. He's ahead of schedule. And I agree. You're talking about the tight ends, in case you guys are just chiming in. That's what he's referring to as far as all the names that came out the game hot and slowed down. Tight end is one of the hardest positions in the league to kind of acclimate to because you got to be able to block and run. And then these guys can knock you off your square a little bit. As a linebacker, I was always taught, a tight end comes across your face, hit those guys. Make them be physical. Every opportunity I have to knock those guys off of their balance and their equilibrium, I'm going to be doing that. So for that reason, again, it can be a hard position. Everyone doesn't develop the same. Not his fault. He was drafted top 5. Definitely agree with that. Kyle Pitts has been a good first-round pick. It's not his fault that he was drafted in the top 5. He can't live up to your expectations for him. My expectations for him. He's just got to go out there and be the best player that he could be. And I think that that was a lot of pressure. And keep in mind, when you're not getting the ball enough, you can kind of check out a little bit. These guys, you got to remember, he's used to being the best on his team, probably going back to almost middle school. So I think it could be a little bit awkward not being targeted enough and not being a focal point of offense. Keep in mind, he started out with Matt Ryan as a focal part of the offense, and then they got Drake London. And him and Drake London run a lot of the same routes. I think that Stefanski's going to have to get a lot more creative in how we use those guys. That's why I really love Jahan Dotson. I think that we could get a lot of variance in some of the plays and the routes that they run, but I think that he's going to be a large more part of our focal point of our offense this year. That's our time. We're going to be getting up out of here. Make sure, if you haven't, check in for our new podcast that we're doing. I Object. That's the name of it. Our new podcast, I Object. That's your boy Hightower, resident sports specialist. He's going to be on there. Our first episode, I'll put that as a link in the description, as well as a link down in the comments. But we just had a recent one. We talked about different tiered players throughout history and players that are in the league right now. We talked about his towerisms and where he feels about where certain players fit into different tiers. And we also did our top 10 running back list. We finally got that top 10 running back list out the way. Hightower put his top 10 running backs out there, and I put my all-time top 10 running backs. We're not talking about the running backs in the league now, but all-time running backs. A wealth of knowledge, and I love doing work with Hightower. He trained me when I was in high school. He's also a former player, so he's got a lot of wealth of knowledge to give to you guys. Make sure you tap in with that. Name of that new podcast, again, is I Object. That's just the first episode. We're going to be coming with a lot more. Let us know what kind of topics that you want to see us cover in that as well, too. That is not just Falcons content. That is NFL content and all sports content, although we will be largely football, basketball, and presumably boxing and other things like that, maybe MMA. And we'll just be talking about news in the sports world, but going to have a lot of debates on there. Going to be giving a lot more of our top 10 lists as it pertains to quarterbacks, wide receivers, different defensive players. We're going to do a DB list. We're going to do a safety list, and we're going to do a cornerback list. Those are all 3 distinctly different lists for me because they don't always necessarily coincide with each other. But we're going to go all the way across the board: edge defenders, defensive tackles, linebackers, you name it. We're going to talk about it. I think we're even going to try to do something with the offensive linemen as well too, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite players. So stay tuned for us, baby. It's your boy Simo, the C Mitchell, checking out for the Bird Bath ATL. Peace.